We're live.
Hi everyone, Kate and Fiona here from Core Confidence on Facebook Live, and we're talking today a little bit about this. What can I do to look after myself? What are my expectations around myself, and what is it that I need to do given that everything in my world might feel very different, very challenged and uncertain, and what is it I can do to really make sure that I'm monitoring and best shaping the way I show up and also what I'm expecting of myself to do.
Yeah, I think we've just jumped off a call with clients, and this piece around comparing myself to others. How am I coping? How are other people coping? If someone's doing really well and I'm feeling really out of control or feeling really uncertain or overwhelmed, starting the stories of what does that say about me? I think, comparison corrodes confidence. It is not helpful. What's likely is that person's great now, but, in 6 hours time or tomorrow, they're not going to be great. And so, but they're not going to get on the phone and go, hey, I'm not feeling great at the moment. So I think this really important piece around acceptance, you said it earlier. Do you want to just reference that quote? Because I think it's perfect for where we are right now.
Yeah, this was my my mantra that I picked up last year, and I love this. And basically, it's all suffering is non-acceptance of what is.
Yeah.
And this is a piece for us to kind of just drop into. It sounds kind of super easy or really kind of alien to what we normally do, but it is simply that I can't change this moment from being what it is. And so as soon as I accept that and I do whatever the next piece is, or I do create whatever's next around that, I'm in a more calm, stable and resource state than if I start to get agitated and really go into the stories and all the what ifs around that.
Yeah. And so I think, just being okay. And we were talking this morning about resilience. The goal of mindset and resilience training or strategies, or a self-care plan is the language we often use, is to take the bottom out of the lows. So, yes, there is going to be kind of this journey, and ideally we want it to kind of be, we don't want it to be straight line because that'd be kind of boring, but we don't want it to be like this, right? We want to take the kind of the intensity out of the lows. But I think acceptance that I am going to be here and here, permission that sometimes it's okay to stay here. We've got strategies in our toolkit. We talked about some of those last week that we can, and levers and buttons that actually go, okay, I can pull myself out of that. For me, tapping, meditation, going for a walk, going for a swim, all of those sorts of things are instant state changes for me. And so, we want you to have conscious connection with what those strategies are. But then the next piece is giving yourself permission to be able to go in the highs and the lows. If for whatever reason you want to stay in a low for a period of time, you can, and not stay there too long or too low for too long. But I think the other piece is that actually what I expected of myself before this if I had a strict training regime around, fitness goals, and that's now not possible, that actually something is better than nothing, that 50% is still better than nothing. And I'm just going to accept that 50% is okay. So if I trained, we just had a client who was training for a really big fitness goal, and now it's kind of like this all or nothing piece. And so what we want you to look at is, well, what's the middle ground? Most people here in Australia are now impacted about they can't go to the gyms. Okay, so now what are your options? Yes, it's not going to be the same intensity. I was thinking of our CrossFit people. It's not going to be the same intensity. But what can you do that will, that will give you still some of the benefit you got? It's not going to give you the 100% exact same, but that's not the goal. It's to still give you some.
Yeah, look, I think, this piece about not being hard on ourselves and, kind of, right sizing things so that I can manage today. And, I've talked before about, one of my things is, mandatory walk every day, no matter what. Sometimes that's a 15-minute walk because that's all that I can do and all that fits in. And sometimes it's an hour walk, and it's okay, whatever I can get done, at least, as you said, Kate, it's something. And I think there's a certain amount of vulnerability around this. We we are not going to be able to do some of the things we're used to doing, and that can take us into, you know, a whole lot of different states. But actually just again acknowledging, okay, this is making me feel, or I feel uncertain about this, and therefore what can I do about it? Because it takes courage to admit that I'm, you know, I'm in this state. So there's a certain amount of that courage, vulnerability, you know, beautiful sort of dance that happens, and just kind of, you know, accept for a moment. We talked about acceptance, and then, and so from this place, what is it that I can choose? What is it that I can do? And it doesn't have to be the big thing. You know, it can really be, okay, today I will do this much because that's what's possible for me today.
Yeah. And I think that the final piece we want to talk about is just this piece around, if you're not okay, speak up, ask for help. You know, chapter 9 of the book, Ask for Help. Lots of really important and interesting insights around our relationship with help. It feels, you know, we feel vulnerable when we do that. We can be concerned about our reputation, all of those sorts of things. But I think, you know, 2 things. Number 1, to reach out to others and ask for help. But number 2, to model that for other people is really important right now. The worst thing is to be kind of stuck, contained in a space where you've got possibly no human contact, and to ruminate in everything that's going on. Yeah, the piece. And so whether that's, you know, reaching out to your virtual, you know, to your social network, jumping on the phone. I've got a few friends who live on their own. I'm often calling them just to check in regularly, you know, to checking in with colleagues, but just really look at how, if you need help, even better if you know specifically what help you need. I think it's really useful when we reach out and say, hey, I'm just calling to check in. I've been feeling really flat and I just want to hear how you're doing. If we context that, that's really useful, because in the absence of, if we just kind of go, you know, I've been feeling flat, full stop, we're not actually saying what we need. And so we're putting the responsibility on someone else now to fix us. And number 1, they're not the best positioned to know what's useful for you, but that just can sometimes end up pissing you off, to be honest. They can do stuff that, you know, it's not their intention. But so it's just, you know, have the courage to ask, to communicate where you're at and ask for what you need. You know, I just want to jump on the phone for 5 minutes and talk about where you're at. Or actually, hey, can we jump on Zoom and, you know, last Thursday, have a glass of wine and just talk about where you're at. You know, just think about, where am I at? Have the courage of who, when we talk about asking for help, what help do I need? Who do I ask for that help?
Yeah, you know, this is so important. And we also know that all of these things have a ripple effect. So if you're able to do it, and as Kate said, do it well, ask for help, you're modeling that, and it means it's okay for other people, which particularly if you're in a team or an organization, that will kind of ripple out. Even your friend groups, that will ripple out. So really take the time to kind of get clear for yourself, share what's going on with some context, with what would help you. Even if it's just, I just wanted to hear another voice. I just wanted to have a conversation. I just wanted to have that glass of wine, whatever it is. Just do what feels like it will support you at this moment. And, you know, then you encourage other people to do that too.
Yeah, nice one. All right, well, we might leave it there. You know, lots of interesting opportunities going on at the moment in terms of resilience strategies. You know, what are you learning? How are you growing? I think there's lots of opportunity to practice, you know, mindset, resilience, all of those sorts of things, lots of things in the book. So certainly it feels like we always talk about every day there's opportunities to practice your core confidence, but it feels like that is on a whole new level at the moment as well. So guys, any questions, comments, please tag us in comments below, www.coreconfidence.com.au if you want a copy of the book. Otherwise, we will see you next week at 9 a.m. on our next Facebook Live.